Egyptians are black. The real Egyptians are black. Because the real Egyptians, they are real Africans.
Classifying Egyptian immigrants as white while some of them are not.
I'm a black man, as you see. My complexion is as dark as most black Americans, and my features are African. And I don't understand why I'm classified as white.
Experts say that the white supremacists in the past did so to justify their claim that blacks were subhuman.
Began fighting racism right out of college. He's written books on racism in America.
Color and who qualifies as black, who qualifies as white, has historically been policed not by those who were the targets of oppression, but by those who set up the system of oppression as a way to dole out the goodies or to withhold the goodies from a society where color has really been the dividing line for opportunity.
We have no Canaanite boy, and he is with the donkey, and he's taking care of his sheep.
Canadian in Israel. I go America, and I help with the
because I'm not dark. I'm not black.
So who determines determines who's black.
The important thing to do is to, of course, define yourself however you wish. That's your own right and your own freedom, and you should exercise it. But it's also important for people to always keep in mind how the larger society is likely to see one.
The U.S. government has a say when it comes to identity.
U.S. Census Bureau, white. Person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. You're defined as white, according to the census. Yeah.
She's not white, so the question really goes to the U.S. government. Why are people from North Africa white? What purpose does that serve? How did you come to make that decision? They are on the continent of Africa. They are of African descent. Why not be black?
The question in this society, to some extent, is will she be viewed as white by anyone other than the census taker? The census taker may write it down that way, but unless the police officer, the loan officer, the teacher, the employer for whom she's trying to get a job views her that way, and it's very unlikely that they will, she is going to be, at the very least, a woman of color.
I came to the U.S. in 1978, and I became U.S. citizen in 1985. When I became a U.S. resident, I was told by the Immigration and Naturalization that I am white. And I told them that I'm black, and they said, no, in this country, you are white. All Arabs in this country, all Arab immigrants are white. I didn't pay much attention in the beginning to this, because in the Arab world, we identify with our ethnicity first as Arabs, and then with the race second as black or white or whatever. But in this country, you identify with your racial group first, and then with your ethnicity second. Gradually, I became black first and Arab second. And I rejected my white classification publicly for the first time in 1987, in February, as a panelist in a function sponsored by the Association of the Study of Black Life and History in Detroit. I said that I belong to two minority groups. I'm Arab American and Black American, and I'm racially black and ethnically Egyptian. I was harassed by my employer right after that. I work for a white school district. The superintendent is white, all the associate superintendents are white, even though that we provide services to 30% black population. But the organization is white and the approach is very white. The attitude towards me changed completely after I went out publicly and rejected my white classification. One coworker came to me and told me, a white coworker came to me and told me right after the function that he met with the superintendent, and if I don't keep my mouth shut, my educational career is over. He said, you have nothing to do with these people, you have a history and a culture. These people came from the jungle, you have nothing to do with them. These people lie and steal. When I see one of them in my neighborhood, I call the police. And I was told by the director of general education, who is retired now, in '88, I was told by him that I get people angry when I say that I'm black Egyptian. If I just say that I'm Egyptian, I would get along. I have to add that I was denied promotion twice because I chose black classification. This is part of my 2 lawsuits against my employer, which are currently pending. 2 lawsuits.
What would you do to help eliminate inner city kids partake in violence?
That's a good question. The answer's a little long, so bear with me, because I don't think there's a silver bullet for this. We start with the President of the United States saying to America, we cannot build enough prisons to solve this problem. And the idea that we're just going to keep incarcerating, pretty soon we're not going to have a young African-American male population in America. They're all going to be in prison or dead.
Now to part of our week-long coverage of A Stronger America, the Black Agenda. New analysis of the U.S. prison population finds more black men are incarcerated now than were enslaved in 1850. The figures are stunning. They are sobering, eye-opening numbers. The latest estimates by the Bureau of Justice putting the number of imprisoned African-American men at more than 846,000. While black men account for roughly 6.5% of the U.S. population, they make up 40.2% of the prison population.